All right. Hello, everyone. I'm joined here today by by
Silence.
by
Yo, what up?
Yo.
It's Spam.
and you guys suck at this. And Charcoal Oven.
Yeah.
Today we will be doing um draft analysis and power rankings for the Phalanx division, which is the best division, obviously. Um, and yeah,
Obviously.
I'm
Obviously.
really excited. Looking forward to talking about the really cool teams, going over my team, going over um, the scary teams, and we're going to be starting with the team I have to fight week 1. This is Saline Syrup. He went 7-1 in the regular season 1. Um, and yeah, he had the first overall pick. He took Goldengo, very scary mon. Salamence is a great option too. I feel like having Intimidate and being able to Salamence is like just below A plus tier, so he's able to Terra. In our league, the S tiers and A plus tier mons are Terra banned, and Salamence is able to Terra, which is really good for it because that 4 times weakness. Terra Steel is very common on it, but just getting rid of that 4 times weakness is huge. And also, I really like teams that only have one mon that are Terra banned. I feel like that's a good strategy coming into this. Um, and
Yeah.
I think
We
that
just
a lot of
can we keep
oh
talking
sorry,
about the fact that Salamence is the GOAT?
Thomas is the go honestly. It also could
True.
run Moxie in case he's fighting an Annihilate or something along those lines. Um, just for fun. I feel like the team is just so solid all around. Um, he technically has a fire water grass core, because of Scoville. um,
And
but
Masquerada also.
well, I know because Scoville the fire type. Um,
Yeah, but it could be both.
yeah. Um, but I think Sylveon's a great budget pick. A great meteor mon. Um, it lost Mystical Fire, I believe, which sucks because that was a great coverage option for it. But it can still Terra. Crook is another great Intimidator, so I feel like having those 2 Intimidate mons, you have Berserker obviously to help Goldengo with those Make It Rains. It's a 1.5 times boosted steel type moves, which is ridiculous. Um,
Yeah, not that Goldango needed any more help.
exactly, so it's just very, very
Yeah.
scary. Um, one thing I will say is like Salamence is an option for speed control. Meowscarada gets Strict Room. Other than that, I don't think there's really any speed control in this team. Maybe like Icy Wind. Um,
Cybon pointed out that if you Terra Water the Scoville and it's a Fire Water Grass core in and of
in
itself.
itself, yeah. But it is a D tier mon, so um, I just am like, I wasn't like not every team needs a Firewater Grass core, but it's just something to point out. Um, there are like a few
Yeah.
delicate
And
typings here, but
And we do
they're
have the
solid team
Fantasy
overall.
core in Salamence, Sylveon, and doubling up on Goldango and Berserker.
Yeah, I think it is a really good team though. I think uh there yeah, I think there's just kind of like a lot you could do with it. I really like Blastoise having fake out too. Berserker also gets fake out. So you have 2 fake out mons, 2 intimidate mons, which is always really solid. Like good like pretty obvious synergy of like the Berserker Goldango, Meowscarada being able to uh it can Terra, but it also has the protein ability, which is nice for it. So you kind of have like 1.5 Terras. Um, yeah,
yeah.
I think it's a good team all around.
Yeah,
Just
I
kind of
think it's
solid.
really good. And that's not even mentioning the fact that he literally got the best pick in the draft as the last pick. Haldane Wooper coming
Paldean
in
Wooper
clutch.
is OP.
He is good mon there. Yeah. Also, you'll notice that there are statistics like with the MVP ranking. But it's just in alphabetical order right now, so pay no mind to it. It'll become relevant later, but um, yeah, I think this team will really come down to how he can use like Passimian, Blastoise, Crocodile, like those mid tier mons, because it feels like a little top heavy. Just looking at it, but I think he definitely can make good use out of those mid tier mons. So I'm excited to see what he does with it. Not against me
Yeah,
though.
I
I'm
definitely
not
agree.
excited to see that.
Yeah, I definitely
What up,
agree, and
GG?
I also think that Scovillain's going to be really nice. I was actually considering drafting that in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the round, but unfortunately, Sailing got to it before me. It's just
Looks like
really nice
Scovelin
coverage.
was appealing to a lot of people because Super Sale was also considering drafting it.
Wow. I think the only problem I see with this team is like kind of like a little bit of a lack of direction. Like Goldengo and Salamence and Sylveon could all like be good options like for setting up, but other than that, it's like you don't have redirection. You don't like to help with the setup. You're not going for like a weather. Like again, you have one option of like
I
of
might be
trail
mistaken.
and
I
one
think Scovillain
option of
gets.
um, trick room. So like
I might be mistaken, but I think Scovillain gets Rage Powder.
I don't think it does.
Well, and
You
outside
want to
of Mons like
correct me on that?
Blastoise and Sylveon, this team does lack a significant amount of bulk. But you know what they say, the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah. I think like Goldango and Salamence like they're fairly like they're okay. And again the intimidate
They
helps
can
a
take a
lot.
hit for sure.
Yeah, but I just think that it is a little bit directionless. Um,
Oh, Alberto confirmed that it does get Rage Powder. That's why he picked
oh, it
Capsicum.
does get Rage Powder. Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, well, that was an
That's
oversight
what
on our
I'm
part
saying.
then.
That's what
Well,
I'm
it
saying.
is slight.
Hey, table, fuck you.
Okay. I'm Blyzrd. Charcoal is the loud, annoying one, and Spam is the annoying
Ah,
one.
thank you.
Is the old one?
Yeah.
Sorry, is what I meant. Yeah,
Wait,
he's the unk. All right.
True.
big Unk energy.
Anyways, moving on to the second team. I'm trying to make it like line it up for you guys so it's like in the middle ish. Cool. We have Void's team, and like last season, I think his team on paper looks very scary. He's got a nice, very obvious Fire Grass core. He's got Mienshao, which is extremely like just strong option. It's fast and frail. Raichu, another fast and frail option, good form of speed control, fake out. He's doing Bravery, another kind of like, and Tauros, honestly, like two like kind of mid speed tier options that have a good bit of coverage and can hit quite hard on their own, harder than you would expect. Doxbone is like okay, doesn't do too much, and Poltergeist is a great budget pick. Um, I think this team is like it's just a big question mark because it's really up to his coaching. I would say there's some teams that just look very strong on paper, very weak on paper. Like this one, it's I'm curious to see what he does with it because um, there's a lot of potential of just like clicking Tailwind on Whimsicott and then next to like an Arcanine or Palafin or Mienshao just doing or Braviary or Tauros just doing a lot of damage. Um, Other than that, it feels like it does feel kind of weak to Trick Room. Other than like Poltergeist, Whimsicott does get Trick Room, I believe, and Taunt. I know, but and also it's not very bulky. So if someone can just kind of withstand the attack, then even if his team can't hit it super effectively, I think that could be a concern. But I do like kind of the mixing up of types. We have a nice kind of variety here. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, and I also think that it's good to notice that this is another one of those teams that did not utilize both of their S and A plus picks. So even though, so he got a little bit more value with those lower level mons, and also has a little bit of an additional benefit to having that one extra mon in Arcanine that can still Terra,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be really nice. And looking forward to seeing him trying to execute whatever plans he's got with that.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very well-rounded mid-tier
Yeah.
team. Not saying the team itself is mid. Just you didn't go too top heavy on the point values and then have to rely too heavy on the low point values. There's a good blend going on here, which could prove beneficial long term.
Yeah, I think it's very, very solid team. And I think that again, this is one of the teams where it's really up to how he uses it. I could see it being one of the top teams. I could see it being one of like the bottom teams. I can't see it being like. I think it's hard for this team to be the best team, and it's hard for this team to be the worst team, though. I think it's probably going to be somewhere towards the middle. I think that's a fair assessment.
Also, really quick, we forgot to figure out the background music thing before we started season 3. Eternum just pointed that out.
Oh. Do you have any music we could? If you send me something on Spotify, I can.
I'm currently on mobile, so that's a hard no from me.
Well, we can always add it next stream. Hoplite stream will
We can do it. Yeah, we can
have
do it next
background
stream.
music.
Thank you for the reminder, though, Eternum. That is something we did try to figure out.
Yep. All right. Let's move on to what is undoubtedly the best team in the league. Just kidding.
Yeah, okay.
I will.
I feel like I'm getting deja vu, but I'm seeing both the names Blyzrd and Volbeat on the same page for the third season in a row.
Crazy! I've never seen that before.
Running back Sinistra. So with this team, I'm going to be hopefully making a channel where I talk more about like the ODL pretty much exclusively. I'm just gonna be talking about like kind of I'm gonna do something where I do my match of the week where I break down what I think my favorite game was and kind of why I thought it was awesome. And I'm gonna be talking more about my team there. So that'll be up hopefully shortly. But you can see that I got the Mon that I really, really wanted, name my team after, Ursulina the Blood Moon. I thought this guy was just so scary. I think the fact that I can hit ghost types is great. It just means like it's just so hard to resist this thing. Because I think the only types that resist ghost are rock and steel, which it's a ground type too. Porygon 2 and Sinistra are both great partners because Porygon 2 is a great Trick Room setter. It's very bulky. It's really hard to remove. And does a lot of damage, especially if you get a download boost off of it. It also has Trace to copy an opposing ability, which is really nice. Sinistra is obviously a great healer, redirector, Trick Room setter on its own. Matcha Gotcha has the 20% burn chance, but on both targets, which is really nice. And it can keep itself alive with Matcha Gotcha, and Life Dew to keep its partner and itself alive. Paldean Tauros is just like a great mid-speed, like just hard hitter. And it's a fire type to round out the Firewater Grass core of Hisuian Samurott in Sinistra as well. Hisuian Samurott is another mon that's just like kind of mid-speed, very hard hitter. Sharpness just makes it hit like crazy hard. Plus, I think that this team generally is quite like somewhat bulky. And so adding Intimidate from Tauros is really nice just to add to that kind of bulk. Volbeat is my go-to prankster mon because Tailwind and it has both Rain Dance and Sunny Day. You can see Rain here actually does work pretty well of helping keep Sinistra alive, helping Hisuian Samurott do a little bit more damage, helping Quillfish because it has Swift Swim and Intimidate. I think it helps like Caparaja too a little, Volbeat a little. And Sun could be good to help Tauros out specifically, and just to counter opposing rain teams. Caparaja I thought was a great budget pick because 130 attack plus sheer force is just really busted. 30 speed, so it's great in Trick Room because this team is leaning a little more Trick Room. I think we have some mons that if I run speed in plus the Tailwind, I could catch some opponents off guard with some Tailwind strategies. And yeah, Quillfish is just kind of there for Intimidate plus Swift Swim, like two solid options. Does more damage than you would expect in Rain. Dracloak, a great budget pick because it's really fast and gets access to
a really good budget
moons.
pick.
Yeah, it gets dual screens. It gets Thunderwave, Will-O-Wisp, Disable, a bunch of stuff.
It gets Ally Switch too still, yeah?
I don't know, actually. Apom,
Also, I just want to point out that this is probably the only time APOM is going to stick at number 1 on MVP.
Well, what do you know? I might, coach
Hey,
for him.
who knows? We saw Brock Purdy make it all the way to the Super Bowl one year, and he got drafted last in the NFL draft. So
Yeah,
who
well,
knows? Maybe it's accurate.
I
Maybe it's
did
accurate.
I did draft him in a mid round because it does have stab fake out, which it's stab, it doesn't do any damage really. But having fake out on a 1 point mon is great, and the fact that it has like tickle too and switcheroo, it has like some decent options.
Good utility.
Yeah. So I think this team overall is just like it has just so much it can do. It is kind of straightforward of just like be bulky, hit hard, set up Trick Room probably or Tailwind for speed control. But I think it's like hard to stop that because none of these mons are very easy to remove unless you're hitting them super effectively, and they all can Terra besides Ursaluna, but you can't even attack him most of the time because we have Sinistra next to it with redirection. Um, so
Yeah, and I think it's really nice to have that combo of being able to go quick Trick Room or Tailwind.
mm-hmm.
So in a season where you can go 1 week going up against a team that is extremely slow, and then the next week you can go up a team that's like probably got the highest speed tiers in the league, being able to switch between those two modes is going to be
Mm-hmm.
really, really key.
Yeah, I'd agree. It adds just a little bit more that the team can do. And again, about Sinistra, it's an amazing partner for Ursaluna Bloodmoon specifically, because if you think about Ursaluna Bloodmoon's weaknesses, weak to fighting, which Sinistra is immune to, weak to water, which Sinistra resists, grass it resists, ice hits them both, but Sinistra also can like Terra Water or Terra Steel or Terra whatever, um, and have those
Well, and
effects
even if
delivered.
someone does try to hit both of them with an ice move, it's going to be Icy Wind, and that thing does pitiful damage anyway. It just fucks with
Or
your speed
Blyzrd,
control.
but I have Voltage
True.
for weather.
Hitting Blyzrd with Blyzrd would be crazy.
That'd be funny. Yeah, I think this team is just
I'm gonna
there's a
write
lot
that
it
down.
can do. It's just pretty solid. So I think it's a good team. I'm very happy with it. My last two teams or my last two seasons felt very stupidly overpowered or like very very good. I don't think this team is like that. I don't think this team is like those two teams I thought were like in the by far the highest tier. I think this team is good, maybe probably one of the best teams in my opinion, but I'm biased, and I really don't think this team is like years ahead of anyone else's. So sorry for yapping so much, but it's my team. You have to cut me some slack. Let's move on to the Shooting Star Jirachis, which is Dori Masuda's team. Um, I don't know what you guys think, but I think this team is just really fun, really interesting. Um, Dragapult, I love. I was between Dragapult and Ursula the Blood Moon on my pick. I think it's great in draft specifically because of the fact it's a mixed attacker, so you don't really know what you're getting out of it. Um, which like if it's you expect it to be special and it goes choice band dragon darts on you, which by the way redirects. So if your opponent goes for protect or Terra Fairy or is just a fairy type, um, then it'll redirect and hit the other mon twice. Um, that thing can do crazy damage. So if you get that guessing game wrong, then you can be in a bad spot. Incineroar is obviously one of the best Pokemon ever made with Fake Out, Intimidate, stab knockoff, parting shot, U-turn, flare blitz, just so many options on it. And Corviknight's a great defensive mon. Set Tailwind, Rotom Wash can do a lot. Morgrem's an interesting mon because it's just like worse Grimmsnarl, but Grimmsnarl can do so much that it's really just it can do. Morgrem is very very versatile. Coughing is just really annoying for prep because your opponents have to consider whether or not you're going to bring it. Um, Another thing you can do with coughing, it does work kind of with some of these mons. Like Dragapult usually doesn't care about its ability too much. Clear Body's nice to have, but it can't be intimidated because it's a like if it goes special at least, like it doesn't matter a ton usually. But with like something, if you pair it with Incineroar and then coughing switches out, you get another intimidate off. There's like kind of strategies you can do with that. Um, Heracross, great
Did
for
we
Gus,
did we
obviously.
highlight on the fact that Infiltrator would bypass Protect in that scenario of redirection?
Infiltrator doesn't bypass Protect, does it?
I'm 95% sure it does.
I think the 5% is true. I don't think Infiltrate hits through Protect. That'd be kind of crazy. It would just be like Urshifu, but better. I am pretty sure you're wrong there.
Infiltrator does not go through
It
protect.
goes
It just
through
goes through
screens and subs, but it just doesn't hit through Protect.
Yeah.
You can look it up.
That I was thinking of screens.
Gotcha.
You're right.
All good. That would be
Everyone, this is the
that'd be
same man that in season 1 of Phalanx ran Resto, Chesto, Vital Spirit, and Annihilate.
Listen, that was a fucking mess up in prep. That had nothing to do with me thinking it would work.
So you just ran it thinking it wouldn't work.
I will never let you live that down. I hope you know,
I know.
that I will never
I know.
live that down.
I'm prepared. This is why we don't do prep in 5 minutes. Unless you're Rick. Or Bozy.
Bozy made it to finals going off prep in 5 minutes.
True.
Soup for Sale just said power move in chat. And speaking of, power spot is a great ability on Stone Junior. 1.3 is like a free
Great
life
ability
boost for anything or any of his partners. Makes Dragapult, Dragon Darts even scarier. I mean, I'm saying Dragon Darts. Dragapult has so many options. It's just so scary in draft. I think it's like Gallade is a similar mon like this. It just can run anything. Dragapult can be physical. It can be special. It can run Will-O-Wisp, Thunderwave. It can just do so much. It can run screens. It can do all sorts of things. Dragon Dance. It could it's just very scary. Because you don't know what it's doing. Corviknight, another mon that could like kind of set up. And we don't have any like redirection on this team, but we have like we have a lot of good like support of like Rotom Wash, Morgram, or solid support mons. We got Intimidate from Arbok if we want it. Kraganol is very fast, which is Arbok is the F tier mon. I was surprised. I don't think Kraganol's F tier. I can't remember. But Heracross is another mon that
should
just like
be. It should be in order of point values.
Oh, well then he must be F tier. That's crazy. So yeah, I think this team is like a team where I don't know what he's gonna do with this. Like, I want to watch. It
is very interesting.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it is a very interesting team. I mean, there's a lot of really funny tech going on. It's a team that's gonna force a lot of prep that I think you could very easily undermine and undervalue the prep going into it. You think you know what it's gonna do, and it's gonna do something different every week.
I would agree with that. Yeah, that's for sure. Right. I think that this probably is by far the most like coach dependent team of just like how well this does.
True.
I don't know if you guys agree with that, but yeah, it's
I do.
hard to rank. Let's move on to Tricolor Groviles. And this team, holy smokes, this is a good team. In my opinion. I think this team is just like there's a lot of it's pretty obvious, first of all. But it's good. I mean, we have Sneasler, who can benefit from Thwacky's grassy terrain, which Thwacky in its own right is great because it has Fake Out and Grassy Glide, and it's budget Rillaboom. But Sneasler gets that Unburden boost, and it's over. It's just it's the fastest thing in the world. It's 198 max, or 189, sorry, max speed. If you double that, then you're bonkers fast. Even though being that fast.
Yeah. Mentioning the speed portion, I think the mons live up to the team name. The fact that I feel like every single one of them is running at Mach 10. Like this is one of the fastest teams, at least from the top half, that I've seen in
This is
a
a very
long
fast
time.
team.
It's quite fast, right? We have Sneasler 120 speed tier, Ninetales 109, I believe, or around that range. Paldean Tauros is like 100. Talonflame is like 124. But Talonflame also has priority because of Gale Wings, Tailwind. So this team is already crazy fast. We have Sneasler and Sceptile who can double their speed instantly. And we have Tailwind on top of that. So I think this
I
team.
do think, and I will say though, that the fact that this team is so fast means it's going to be really hard to control opposing Trick Room teams.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Trick Room is a problem for this team. Um, and they don't have great answers to it. Like, I Golurk might get Trick Room, but other than that, like just Taunt, I guess. Taunt is really hard to use in draft though, because first of all, there's redirection. Second of all, anyone could be running Mental Herb and you don't know until it's too late.
True.
So just clicking Taunt usually is like hard to work. And let's say you double taunt just in case they have Mental Herb and they protect or it's redirected away, then it's like it just bites you very easily. So I think this team is good. I think it's like a very good team, but I think there are limitations to it, and I think um it does somewhat feel like a lot of good mons thrown together, in the sense of like a lot of these mons are great pieces, but Sneezer's best partner being Thwacky is like okay. Ola Ninetales doesn't have like a great partner, and there's not a whole lot of bulk on this team to benefit from the screens that it sets up. Like maybe Golurk is the best partner for Ola Ninetales. Like it's hard to say. Like there's not a whole lot of synergy. So
Soup brings up a good point. This team could benefit from an imprisoned Trick Room Mon or Frisk to check for Mental Herb.
yeah, I think just anything that can help. Also, I will say Capsicid does have redirection. I think that was mentioned with Rage Powder.
Yes.
But yeah, Trick Room is a big problem for this team. And we saw my team has Trick Room. I know his week 1 matchup has Trick Room as an option. And so how many of his matchups are going to have Trick Room, and how many of them will make him lose for that, or will punish him for not having a Trick Room answer, or great Trick Room answer?
Also, this team has a pretty rough. How do I want to word this? It has 3 grass types. There's a lot of ice weakness going on here, and especially if you
And 2
double
ice
down into
types.
something like freeze dry. Freeze dry shits on not so much Capsicid. No, because Capsicid's not a fire type yet, is it?
I'm not sure. It's a 1-point mono.
I think it's just. I think it's still. I think it's
I
still
think you're right
monograph.
about it just being a grass type. I think you're
Yeah.
right.
Sceptile and Thwacky are also susceptible to ice, and then if you run freeze dry, Lantern gets hit pretty hard. Golurk gets hit hard by by ice. Tauros also gets hit pretty hard by ice, or specifically freeze dry. Because I don't think fighting resists off the top of my head.
That's a great question for the chat. But I would agree. And like I'm flying types. Sneasler who can't Terra.
Flying types, true.
Tauros, Sceptile, Thwacky, Capsicid. That's half the team.
Yeah, you got to watch out for Hurricane with this team.
Fire. Half the
Yeah.
team is weak to fire. So it's just like.
Luckily, this is a very hit hard, hit fast team. So if you can get through that and get around that, you'll be okay. But if someone gets the chance to fire back, it could prove bad.
So yeah, I think this team is like again a little hard to rank because it's very good or has a lot of potential, but I feel like the synergy is a little off and there's no real trick room answer. So moving on, we have the Miami Vice Kings, which is
Running it back with Pelipper Arch again.
Yeah, Pelipper Arch has never really done anything in this league.
Yeah, no, never, not once.
Nope. But I think this. I think this team is it's weird because it feels really good, but I don't know how good it'll be. Like it feels good on paper, right? We have Pelipper Arch, which is like one of the best duos in all of VGC, like Reg H, right? We will see another one of those great duos on the next team. But this is a great duo. Problem is, we have our Caludon, which really likes having that stamina ability to maximize its defenses. Something like Mouse would be great for it. Weavile, like there's anything that can kind of like help set it up. Scrafty's like okay. I think it gets beat up. If it doesn't get beat up, it's not good. But I think it gets beat up. And Jolteon has Pin Missile, which could also help if it runs the loaded dice. But other than that, like you can't. It's a little harder to set up. Kingdra is the only rain abuser here besides Azumarill, who can just make his Aqua Jet stronger. Which is still very threatening. I mean, especially if he gets a belly drum. But you don't have any redirection to help with that, like setting that up. Archaludon doesn't have any redirection to help it, like Snowball. Scrafty is the one fake out and intimidate user. So I feel like this team is like, when you look at it, it looks very scary, but I feel like it might be a little less threatening than it might be at first.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be a major threat, especially with the Archaludon Pelipper combo. That like,
Scrafty does get beat up.
obviously we've never seen that win a championship in ODL Phalanx ever.
Well, I think the difference was my team that won it was I had Mousehold, which made setting up Archaludon super easy, especially because I had Follow Me on top of that to redirect and keep it like alive after it's set up. Archaludon could Terra, and now it's Terra banned. Pelipper is also Terra banned, which really hurts it. And I had Sinisha to heal Archaludon and redirect it. Again, like I have Sinisha this league, I could redirect away those close combats or anything that tries to hit those earth powers. Anything that tries to hit Archaludon for super effective, I could just redirect away. Here we have no redirection, which makes setting up Archaludon a little bit harder. So we might see more of kind of like a fast offensive Archaludon of like a max speed, maybe Power Herb just in case the Pelipper goes down or we're out of rain. Setting up.
Yeah, and it's also not.
There is no.
It's also they're like Archaludon's also sporting not just one big threat ability, but three because it's also got
True.
what Stalwart and what's the last one I forget?
And Sturdy.
Sturdy, yeah.
Which
So
does
even
help
with
the fact
Hate
Sturdy,
to interrupt, but I gotta bounce. I gotta go pick up the wife. I'll be back.
All right. See ya.
bye, Spam.
Thanks for joining us.
But yeah, so having like those extra abilities is definitely gonna be able to help, especially if you don't think you're gonna be able to get enough sturdies off to really make a difference, or enough stamina
boosters.
triggers off to make a difference.
Yeah, I think
But sturdy could also
Scrafty and
help
Jolteon
a
are
lot with the ground game.
Yeah, I think Scrafty and Jolteon are okay, but I just think we have our Archaludon Pelipper, and not any support for that really. Besides like Scrafty is the only like real support one besides Pelipper. And Pelipper likes to be clicking like Hurricanes and Weather Balls too, but here it feels like it has to go for like Icy Wind, Tailwind, Wide Guard. I don't know what else like it can really click. Like it feels like it has to kind of be supporting Archaludon the whole time. And Kingdra and Azu and Beartick are like solid range sweepers, especially Kingdra. Kingdra is very scary. And Gengar and Jolteon are very fast, but I feel like this team could be exploited quite easily. And the fact it feels quite one-dimensional. If rain goes away, especially while Pelipper's on the field, it's like the only way to get rain back up is to switch Pelipper out or switch it back in, unless Pelipper has rain dance, which it has to click without priority with only 65 base speed, mind you. I believe it's 65 base speed. And with glaring 4x weakness to electric. So I think there are some flaws. Let's move on in the least scuffed way possible to the next team. I know you guys are watching the stream, just saw that very smooth, very nice transition to the next team.
Absolutely gorgeous. It's like a figure skater skating in the Olympics.
But we have the Norman Pelipers. I talked about last time we would see a very threatening duo here, and we see maybe the scariest one, if not one of the scariest, or one of the scariest, if not the scariest duo, in VGC Reg H, which is Annihilape and Mousehold, because being able to set up Rage Fist to get it extremely powerful means it can OHKO anything that doesn't resist it, maybe some things that do resist it, and anything that isn't immune to it. Annihilape is a great mon in draft because it can be very fast, with Final Gambit, which it probably won't run too often realistically, but it can also be quite like run like max like attack, max speed, to benefit from kind of like the either Tailwind, which we only see on Masquerain here actually, or Thunderwave. Mousehold is a big form of speed control here. We also see Trick Room as a very good option from Gothitelle. Impidimp also, I believe, gets Thunderwave. But
Yeah. I do want to mention something really quickly with that silly little Politoed. During the draft, I believe Juvi was trying to get Politoed as
Yeah.
his reign setter when he already had Basky Legion.
And the pick
And he would have had Arcaldon, Basky Legion, and Politoed as his reign setter, but unfortunately, Table sniped it right in front of him, and unfortunately, you cannot have Arcaldon, Basky Legion, and Pelipper all on the
because
same
that'd be two
team
A+ mons on the
because
same
of
team. Yeah.
because it would be too many A+ mons. So that could be big reason for why Juvi's team does not have as much ways to take advantage of
Well,
the rain as he would like.
yes and no, because I feel like even with Basque Legion, that's just another rain sweeper. It's not a support mon. It is a great threat, but and Pelipper is very useful for Tailwind, which is the only Tailwind mon on that team. So I think yes and no. But Politoed is great on this team. Pairs well with Overquill and Ludicolo, especially, just two Swiftswin mons. Overquill's great because it also has Intimidate and only one weakness. Ludicolo is stronger than you might expect it to be at times. I think he gets some decent support options too, notably Fake Out, which works well with Gothitelle also having Fake Out. To help kind of give Annihilape a little more turn to set up, because Annihilape is a great setup mon if it wants to be. I was saying how it can like be a little more like aggressive and offensive. It also can be very bulky, because setup mon with like leftovers or rarely AV, or like Citrus Berry, but it can be kind of a bulkier mon that is just really hard to remove. It's a little easier to remove without being able to tear, but still quite a threat. Mousehold, I think, is a great support mon. Thunderwave, Follow Me, Population Bomb, doing a lot of damage without even needing to invest. But if you run max attack, especially with a wide lens, it hits quite hard. So I think it's a great option. Piloswine is a great NFE. I think it's just a good mon overall. I think this is another team. It feels like good, but not like great. Just because it feels like your two modes are not conflicting necessarily, but just they don't have synergy together. Like Annihilate Mousehold is a great duo, but they're just kind of added onto this team. You have a Perish Trap duo of Politoed Gothitelle, and that kind of works with the other Rain Mons. But then you have like Impidimp, which is like hard to bring because it's just so ridiculously frail. Masquerain is also crazy frail, even though it has Intimidate. Doesn't have a crazy fast speed tier. I think it's 80 speed, 85 speed. So it's a little bit harder to set Tailwind. Crocolore is like almost unbringable, even though it's Crocolore. So I feel like the synergy here is like okay.
Yeah, and I know Table is definitely very hyped up about getting Politoed to not just block Juvie, but to also set up a possible Perish Trap strategy
Yes.
as an extra little bonus. So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see
I just
what he
think
can
this
do with
team
that.
could do a little bit more. So we'll see what it ends up doing. And let's move on to another extremely good transition. Wow, this transition is so epic. Wow, I feel like you blink and the transition's already done. That was incredible. All right. All right, you can stop now. That was
Perfect
terrible.
timing.
Yeah, terrible singing. But we
I
have
thought it was
a
beautiful.
very bad team here. Just terrible team. Awful team. I'm kidding.
I know. Like,
Charcoal, you want to talk about this team?
What was this guy doing? Yeah, I can talk about this team without hopefully trying to give, hopefully trying not to give away any of my plans. So this is my team, if you couldn't tell. Um, so it look. Oh, I think. Why? Thank you, SMB. He liked my singing. I'm very happy.
He's a London.
Um,
Keep talking.
fine. Um, so so when I was going to the draft, I didn't really know what mod I wanted to pick, as first overall, but I ended up settling on Grimmsnarl because I think, like, even though there were still S tier mons available, um, I feel like Grimmsnarl is one of the most versatile um mons in the draft. Not even just for support. I think like it's got some valuable offensive capabilities also.
Agreed.
And a 120 attack stat on a support mon is kind of a little bonkers. So
Great
um
typing. Spirit Break is great for
and then
offense and support too. 75 base power, 100% accurate. Stab move that lowers your special attack. That's great.
yeah. Um and to to my del- to my delightful surprise, one of the S tier mons that I did mention passing up on ended up falling back to me in the second round. So I ended up getting Ursaluna to pair with Grimmsnarl to potentially, which Ursaluna with its ground typing covers two of Grimmsnarl's weaknesses, while Grimmsnarl can also set up defenses as far as screens go to let Ursaluna just get in there and start dealing a bunch of damage. And then with that sort of core, I decided to draft Bronzong and Young Mega for two directions of speed control, kind of similar to what Blyzrd did also with Leaf Porygon 2 and Volbeat. And it's also really convenient that Bronzong is able to ignore Ursaluna's Earthquake that I'll be clicking more often than not. And it's also helpful that Yon Mega can do the same.
I will say
So
too, Bronzong having heat proof and levitate is great because most people are expecting a levitate just because you have Ursaluna, but it doesn't mean you can't run heat proof. So if you choose to run heat proof and your opponent isn't expecting it and they expect a really easy knockout, then they don't get it. That could really screw with them or screw with their success.
yeah, and I also don't think that's the only mon that I need to run this that I can run different abilities on. Like even Yon Mega, it's got speed
Tinted
boost,
lens, right?
tinted lens, and frisk. So being able to have the option to do multiple different things is something I was kind of going for when picking a lot of these mons. Um, but following that, I ended up getting Skeleturge because who doesn't want a Fire Ghost Crocodile that can sit and tail in Trick Room behind screens and just spam Torch Song repeatedly. It's gonna be silly. It's gonna be fun. Um, and yeah. So, but then after that, I'm gonna just mention Quaquaval and Hisuian Electrode. Quaquaval was mainly just to help um take advantage of my Tailwind option because like I've got Ursaluna and Grimmsnarl is like my core two mons, Bronzong and Young Mega is my two directions of speed control, and then Quaquaval and Skeleturge to take advantage of those two different types of speed control and an attempt to run away with the game. Um, and it also really helps that they're both like one's a special attacker and one's a physical attacker, and it fell into place pretty very nicely. Suing Electrode's there to provide some extra utility and coverage, especially into water types, which are a little bit of a more difficult matchup into my team. Um, but then my last three mons, which I'm sure everybody going up against me is going to enjoy, Hisuian Zorua, Grookey, and Gothita or Gothita. It's they're like I looked at all of the um D and F tier mons going into the draft, and I identified Hisuian Zorua and Grookey as two of the better low tier mons or like low point value mons I could get. And then I ended up spotting Gothita during the draft. And between all of those, they had all these mons. They've got Grassy Surge, Fake Out, um, Ice Ice Wind, Illusion. Gothita's got uh, Frisk and Shadow Tag. So which can be pretty funny, especially if I've got Ursaluna next to it. Um, so it's just a lot of possible utility for three very low value mons that in total are uh, cost even less than Skeletors, which is really nice. So
Yeah, I think the
yeah,
team is great. I think there are a lot of good pieces and a lot of great synergy, which is like it's most teams like will have one or the other. Well, they have like a lot of like their team isn't necessarily like great, but they all work really well together, or they have a great team with a lot of great pieces that just doesn't necessarily they don't necessarily work together. Here you kind of have the best of both worlds. Um, in my opinion, I feel like it is a little bit easy for this team to kind of be exploited in some ways. I think Ursaluna is a mon that is very predictable. I think it's and not being able to tear is a little bit annoying too. And no redirection means it's like a little harder. But I think there are like its main weakness that you have to worry about is like fighting, right? Or like water or grass, right? Um, or ice. But like the if fighting is a big one, you have Skeleturge, who's immune, Yanmega, who 4 times resists, Suian Zoro, who's immune, and can disguises it. So there's a lot of mind games here. I think I think Spam is completely right when he said that this team is just all mind games. I think that's the big plus of this team. It's just hard to know what you're going to be bringing.
yeah, that was kind of the goal going into it. It
Yeah.
was just trying to make a team that makes people cry when prepping for it. So hopefully I did my job.
There are also
And
some other
hopefully we'll have eight very sad opponents during this regular season.
There are
So
also
good
very
luck,
like
guys.
interesting strategies you could do with like Bronzong and like Gravity to pair with Hypnosis Yanmega or to pair with that Ursaluna Earthquake. Like there's a lot of like just like little synergies like that too. Skill swap Bronzong to get Prankster to something else. Like there's just a lot you could do with this team. Um, moving on to SMB's team, North Carolina Charizards. Um, this team is really interesting because he drafted a full team and dropped every single mon besides Braviary and picked up an entirely new team, which is crazy because the fact that he was able to do this, Torkoal went undrafted, like Sun just went undrafted. Nobody went for a Sun team, so he was able to completely just um, fill his team with a Sunroom option. It is the biggest weakness of Sunroom is you know what's coming. Their goal is to set up Trick Room, then get Torkoal in, and go boom in Eruption. There's also Hisuian Typhlosion for like fast Eruption as well. But Hisuian Typhlosion doesn't have a partner to Prankster Tailwind for it. If you get Prankster Tailwind next, like a Whimsicott next to Hisuian Typhlosion, who can Tailwind or Sunny Day, then that's really scary. But it doesn't really have that. It's kind of forced to like just run off pure Scarf like on its own next to Torkoal for like to help with Sun, but still, it feels like it could use a partner. Other than that, like, and other than the fact that this team is quite one-dimensional, it's great. Like Torkoal is amazing, very scary, even though it can't Terra, to make that eruption even stronger. it is so very strong. Gastrodon's great on Sun teams, just a great support mon. Oranguru is amazing, especially next to something like Torkoal or Suing Typhlosion, where it can just make its partner keep spamming Eruption. I think there are like some mons like Hitmontop are actually pretty good here on this team. Like I think a mon with Intimidate and Fake Out is good generally. It also has like some pretty high power moves. I think Armarouge is a mon that is like, it's a little weird to use here because it's normally great next to Indeedee, but there's no Indeedee on this team. So it feels like Indeedee is also on the board, I believe. I think he was dropped. So maybe swapping someone like Hisuian Typhlosion for Indeedee would make this more of like a hard Sunroom team that like could work more effectively just because of the redirection. But at the same time, then you lose like your fast mode pretty much entirely or the threat of it at least. So it's a little hard to say like what this team should do to make it better because it feels very scary. Again, I think there are limitations just because you know pretty much what's coming.
Yeah, and I also do want to mention that I think holding on to Braviary is actually, I think, works out pretty nicely because along with the fact that it's got pretty nice, like it's got some pretty nice ways to just deal a bunch of damage to your opponent. There's there's your there's your possible tailwind that you can put alongside Hisuian Typhlosion, especially because a lot of the better tailwind mons are like anywhere between the B to like A plus tier range, and you're already filling in those slots with like Oranguru, Hitmontop, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Braviary is definitely a mon that I think could shine as a budget
Mm-hmm.
Tailwind user. So
I think one thing to consider though about Tailwind users is that Tailwind users with priority are amazing, or Tailwind users that are very fast are amazing. If they're kind of mid-speed tier, then because of the dynamic speed updates that has kind of been new in, I think, Sword and Shield, um, having that fast Tailwind is great. But if you have a mid-speed Tailwind, then Braviary might not be around at the end of the turn, might be taunted. Who knows what happens to Braviary? And you don't have to really commit a Terra right away. You'd rather it just Tailwind and die than have to Terra and nothing happens. Like, I feel like that is one cause of concern. Also, another mon I really wanted to highlight was Alolan Executor. I think this is a great budget pick. I was just taking a look at it. It has 125 special attack, 105 attack, which is just way more than I realized. It's great in Tailwind, or in Trick Room, sorry, because it's 45 speed. It gets Frisk and Harvest. Doesn't unfortunately get Chlorophyll like normal Executor, but that's okay just because it hits very hard. Like it has, I think its signature move of Dragon Hammer, 90 power, 100 accuracy Dragon move. It's just stronger Dragon Claw. It gets Draco Meteor, obviously. But it gets actually a lot of good coverage, and a lot of good support moves as well. Trick Room on its own, Breaking Swipe, Dragon Cheer, Hypnosis, Solar Beam. Obviously, I guess something like Psychic moves, Knock Off, Screens, Skill Swap, which is pretty cool. Meaning, like, let's say you have Frisk and then your opponent switches out one or two mons, you could Skill Swap to activate Frisk again. You can use Harvest to help it with its bulk because you're in Sun, so it has a 100% chance to eat that berry again. So I think it's a great budget pick. Let's move on to the Pacifidlog Paladins. I think that's Palafin. Sorry, I think Pacifidlog is how you pronounce it, or Pacifidlog. I think this team, sorry, is really good. I have seen Supercell talking in the chat about this team a little bit, and I think he knows it's good. But having Electabuzz on this team, very good mon. I was eyeing Electabuzz if I had like the points for it. or I had the room for it on my team because it's an Amon and I already have two. But it's just so good. It has Electro Web for speed control, Follow Me for redirection. 95 speed is quite fast. Great bulk plus Eviolite. So this thing is really good. It has Vital Spirit, so it can't be slept. So it can redirect and then not be slept. So just any sleep against this team is just going to be so much harder to pull off. Farigiraf is great because you have Dragonite. You have like a E-speed killer, right? You have a real threat with priority moves. And then conversely, you can't be hit with priority moves because you have Farigiraf. And the mind game of Farigiraf is your opponent like will not click Fake Out in front of Farigiraf, even if Farigiraf isn't Armor Tail. Like it also has Sap Sipper. It also has another I can't remember exactly what, but sometimes it's like worth to like not run Armor Tail just for the mind game and just having that threat of being able to switch into Farigiraf even when it's not on the field. Just one of those mons that commands so much respect. Something like a Moongus is the same, where it just commands a lot of respect just by existing on the team. Also, thank you, Soup, for Cudchew being the other ability, which is not a bad ability necessarily, but I think that the point is that it just commands so much respect by existing. Rabombi, very, very fast Tailwind user. Gets Sticky Web, which using that in doubles is always fun because nobody ever runs like Defog or Rapid Spin. Moonblast and Bugbo's hit quite hard on it. Blaziken just makes itself faster. Hydrapple is just a great mon all around, especially with that 30% chance to just double Fickle Beam's attack. That's just ridiculous. Empoleon's good all around. Grapple has Intimidate. Mismagius is a great budget pay. Like there's just so many options on this team. Very good depth. A lot of, as he pointed out, a lot of cool techs. I think this is one of those teams you really gotta keep an eye out for because it's just so hard to prep into. Like there's just so much it can do, and every mon on it is good in a way. Like even some things like Mismagius and Cranidos are the bottom 2 points. They both can be good. Cranidos, if it like has like Choice Band and Trick Room, it could be hit really hard. Mismagius, Magius, I don't know, has a lot of good special moves and can set up Trick Room, I believe. Maybe it has Skill Swap too. It has like a lot of options. I think this team just overall, and Dragonite having so much coverage, makes this team really scary.
Yeah, I think it definitely is a very threatening team. I think the one thing that I wish I wish there was a little bit more of a way to really take advantage of um, the possible Trick Room option from Farigiraf, but I think it's threatening enough on its own because of Armor Tail and its move pool that
Mm-hmm.
even if Soup doesn't want to go for Trick Room ever, like throughout the entire season, I think it's still going to be a major threat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a great point. Because you have the option, like you have Rabombi who's very fast, who also has Tailwind. Dragonite also has Tailwind. Blaziken also has Speed Boost. So you have a lot of speed. But if you're running against, if you recall, uh, Alberto's team, which had Sneasler and Sceptile and Ninetales Lola and Talonflame, then Trick Room actually could be great here. And again, Soup, thank you for pointing out the fact that Hydrapple is incredibly slow. I know that Cranidos would benefit a lot from Trick Room. Farigiraf obviously benefits a lot from Trick Room. And Farigiraf can be an offensive mon or a defensive mon. Like, it can do a lot. I think just a good team all around, really. Let's move on to a good friend of mine, Pilza. I like this team a lot, honestly. I kind of helped in some of the draft processes with this, and it looks like just a bunch of like good mons thrown together, but there actually is a lot of synergy here, more than you realize on first glance. I think having two of your best mons being Terraband is a little annoying. Also, and even if you guys are just lurking, just thank you for joining us. It's always fun to have viewers, to have people watching. But yeah, I think this team's great. I think King Gambit is obviously like your biggest like threat, but you have so many threats on this team, really. Like Volcarona is and King Gambit can both be very easily be setup sweepers. Mimikyu too with Swords Dance and having that built-in shield of disguise. I think it makes it like a very scary team just because it can if you let it set up, it'll be really a problem. We have obviously a great Trick Room mode. With things like Duosion being 125 special attack, it's a lot. So that can hit really hard. Araquanid is a great Trick Room on. King Gambit and Clefairy are both naturally slow as well. Mimikyu is the freest Trick Room setter in the world just because it has that shield. And you have Clefairy and Volcarona to redirect for it. And speaking of those two mons, great partners for King Gambit because they both really help with the types that would normally threaten Gambit. Like Poison is good into Clefairy, it doesn't do anything into King Gambit. Fighting 4 times weakness for King Gambit, resisted by both mons. There's just a lot of type synergy on this team. Glycor is a great Tailwind option. Shiftry is an amazing Tailwind option. Altaria also has Tailwind. So that's 3 Tailwind options on this team, on top of 2 Trick Room options on this team, one of which for both is great. So there's just a lot you can do with this team. I think some of these mons in particular are just complete mind games or reading. It's all about reading. Like King Gambit, is it going for Sword Stance? Is it going for Sucker Punch? Is it going just straight for a Kowtow or Iron Head? Volcarona, is it? Oh yeah, Volcarona also gets Tailwind. Yeah, thank you, Simon. But Volcarona, it could be going for Tailwind. It could be going for Rage Powder. Could be going to set up with Quiver Dance. Could be going for a Fiery Dance to set up and attack. There's just so many problems on this team that it feels really hard to account for all of them, especially because you have one Terra, right? And so if you've already committed your Terra and you can't hit something for super effective, or you can't hit something like Clefairy or Volcarona, and it's just kind of sponging those hits, and the partner next to it is just abusing that. I feel like it could be very scary. This team just could be scary in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I definitely think that it's going to be it's at times it's definitely going to be a little bit challenging to coach this team, but I think it's got all the tools to end up being really successful.
I'd agree. I know Pilza is
my question.
Sorry.
Yeah, my question is he going to be able to get enough attacking power out of some of these mons that are really threatening as far as Tailwind Trick Room users, but can he really take advantage of the amount of attacking power, especially because his 2 best damaging mons are both Terra banned, and one of them has a quad weakness.
They both have quad weaknesses, actually. Fighting and Rock.
Oh yeah, true. But Rock is silly.
I think this team actually absolutely can get enough attack power. I think you are completely right though. With the coaching part, Pilsa is quite new to VGC and to draft. He's knowledgeable on it, very much so, but new in terms of practice. So it's just kind of getting experience with this team, getting comfortable with the team is going to be a big part of its success, or lack thereof. If he fails at that, then this team will probably not see much success. But there are just a lot of good pieces, a lot of good tech you have with this team, like Shiftry or Volcarona or Altaria or Glycor going for Tailwind to set up Shiftry, which can hit very hard. Altaria, great weather answer. There's just a lot you can do with this team. I'm a big fan of it. Let's move on now to Bedoofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated, which
Bedoofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated.
I like this team a lot. This is another team that I'm a big fan of just because of the top 8 mons. I think they're all great. Primarina is just a very, very scary mon in general. It hits very hard. Oh, welcome back, Spam.
The Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated.
All right, you guys can both leave.
I
Welcome
We
back to
don't
another solo
want
commentary.
to.
So, Primarina is pretty bulky, bulkier than you'd expect. Very, very strong mon. And if you look at this team, there's just a lot of options. Infernape, mixed attacker, with fake out. Gyarados, intimidate. Driftblim, you get Unburden, tailwind. You have, excuse me. You also have fake out Rillaboom, obviously. You have some priority from Rillaboom, and like just a lot of these mons can hit hard. Infernape hits very hard. Baxcalibur hits super duper hard. Primarina, if set up, can hit very hard, and even if not set up, can hit hard. There's just a lot you can do with this team. Metagross is a very underrated mon in terms of like what it is capable of, its stats, its support options. Glimit's a good budget pick. Cutiefly's an okay budget pick. Knackley's not really bringable, but it is a pretty good team overall.
am a big fan of Flare Boost Driftblim.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how viable that shit is in doubles, but that's one of my favorite little singles techs. It's so much fun.
I think on this team, Unburden will almost always be better, but
Probably.
it's not. It is an option that people have to consider because that could hit very hard. And then the only real concern I see with this team is like it's great, but if your opponent has like a set strategy, this team could be a little bit more vulnerable to that. Like if it might be hard to stop like your opponent from like setting up or getting up like Trick Room or getting up whatever. Like I feel like this team's gonna have to dedicate a little bit more resources to that, but it is a great team. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of really good pieces, especially like as you said in that top eight. I feel like I could see any combination of those eight coming, and it could still be very. I just think it could still be very threatening.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is definitely highlighted by those top three mons.
Mm-hmm.
They're all, I think they're all very threatening. Especially like because we saw all. I'm not sure how much we saw Rillaboom in season one, but we definitely saw a lot of Primarine and Baxcalibur, and they were very, very successful in my opinion, in my professional opinion.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
We saw a lot of Primarina.
Yeah, it was second on MVP. It was a very scary mon. The only problem I do see is that Primarina is great, but is even better like if you have like a redirector next to it, or can get it in rain or something like that. And it doesn't really have that option here, and that's a little bit like disappointing. But it does have great speed control. With Driftlin.
Yeah, it feels very heavily reliant on its own self-sustainability.
Yeah, it does have two fake out users next to it, which is nice, and there can be some pledge shenanigans that go on with Infernape, Primarina, and Rillaboom all being starters.
True.
So that is something to consider. You can go for all of the pledge combos.
I would love to see Pledge. I've never in my life witnessed Pledge firsthand. I've like seen it, but I've
Really?
never witnessed it. If that makes sense. Yeah.
I ran a rainbow pledge, like a firewater pledge team before with like just making like the other team not be able to move with flinching pretty much.
Nice.
With Serene Grace plus Rainbow, it's a 120% flinch chance. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But yeah, it is a fun team. I think this team's very good. And let's move on to Eternum's team, which is another good team. I think Amoonguss just commands a lot of respect, especially when you have Kilowattrel. So if that's a fast Amoonguss and we get Tailwind up, and the Amoonguss is faster than you expected, it can catch you off guard by putting you to sleep. We have Trick Room on Espeon, maybe? I think Espeon and Medicham. Skill Swap Medicham also to pair with Hisuian Arcanine is quite threatening. Though, notably, those are like the two. Actually, no, never mind. I take it back. Alchemy's great for a Decorate support mon because just setting up anything like threatening on this team, like let's say Kilowattrel gets intimidated. Now it's ×2 special attack. That's very threatening. If you add another Decorate boost on top of that, it's even scarier. Espeon, if it sets up its own psychic terrain, it could be very scary with E-Force. Greninja could be a good mixed attacker. There's just a lot on this team that is scary. I think there's like pretty decent synergy too, but I think it's just a scary team overall. Not a team that you really want to see on your schedule. Thoughts?
Bad time to be
Um,
replying to somebody I wasn't paying attention.
It's okay.
yeah, I definitely think that I definitely think that it's got this team's going to be able to take advantage of a multitude of different ways to like use some of these support like utility mons to try to help some of the more like attack like damaging sort of mons. I've been saying that stuff like that a lot, but I really think that like Alchemy is definitely going to be a big help, especially if you can consistently get Decorate on one of your other mons. And I think being like, because the fact that Decorate goes through Protect, like to your ally, so
Mm-hmm.
that could definitely be some very useful tech.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think this team is very much up to how a tournament uses it, and I know he's a very creative player in prep. It's just this team has great strategies, looks great on the team sheet on prep, but can you execute those strategies successfully without dying first or getting disrupted in some way first is the big question. So we'll have to see on that. And let's move on to our last team with another fire transition. That was a really smooth. Wow, that was professional quality. Wow. The Boston Reggie Rocks. This team, I don't even know exactly what I want to say on this team, just because it feels like, as I was mentioning earlier, like it does feel kind of like a lot of good mons thrown together. I feel like there is some good synergy here. Like Mamoswine next to the Rotoms with Levitate is great. Clarion Wheezing and Slacking is obviously an amazing duo. Clefable next to anything Fruit Direction could be very good. Basculegion's very threatening, but the problem is like when you look at Basculegion, that's where the problems start. Because like Basculegion's amazing in rain, there's no rain on this team. There's no real speed control on this team. There's no like it's just kind of lacking a lot of like there's great redirection, but like it's just kind of lacking some of the things that you might want. And so it does like raise some questions. I know that I'm pretty sure Sibon dropped they went for um a sand strategy before changing it up in free agency or in Grace. But yeah, he did actually. He had Excadrill, Garchomp, Tyranitar, and Milotic. I think honestly, that team was much scarier. I think the sand worked pretty well with Clefable, and I think also having like the earthquake next to the Rotoms works fine. I'm a little concerned with like how much this team is going to work outside of the duos though. Like let's say Galarian Louisian goes down, Slacking is instantly just not good. Like you can just protect on every other turn. Let's say Slacking goes down. Like what ability is Galarian Louisian getting rid of now? Like I guess Basculegion doesn't really have an ability. Well, it actually has adaptability, which is great. Sorry, it doesn't have like Swift Swims here is not great. But it's just like you're getting rid of like adaptability, which you don't want to get rid of. You're getting rid of intimidate, maybe. You're getting rid of levitate. Like there's like a lot of things that it could be getting rid of that you don't really want it to get rid of, other than slacking. Unaware Clefable could be really bad if you get rid of that. If your opponent's set up, like I feel like thick fat mammoth swine. There's just like a lot of situations where this team, if it's out of context or out of its ideal setup, it could be struggling.
Yeah, I will say it's definitely going to be annoying for teams to have to maneuver around Galarian Wheezing because it's so much like it's got that ability to like tank a decent amount of moves,
Yeah.
while also just sitting on the battlefield being annoying. But I agree with you that it's going to be kind of rough to maneuver Galarian Wheezing around some of these other mons that actually value their abilities, just to put it next to slacking.
Yeah, that is a fair concern by I don't know how you want me to say it, like Cybon. But the fact that he did previously have two mons with 4x weaknesses in Tyranitar and Garchomp. Um, Garchomp was Terra banned. Tyranitar wasn't. Partially because it just would be so much worse if it. Yeah, Cybon. Okay, thank you. It would be so much worse if it couldn't Terra. I still think that version of the team was scarier though. It's hard to say though. It was more straightforward here. I don't know exactly what's coming. I expect a Wheezing Slacking combo, but if you don't bring it, like even if you have it in the back, like or have it, leave it on the bench, it's still just the threat of you bringing it or leading with it is definitely there. Especially choice band or choice scarf slacking could be really scary. So another team, like I've said this with probably two or three other teams, but this is really much just down to the use of the coach. Every team is obviously, but this feels like not a very straightforward team. So it's all down to the surprises, the prep, and the play. So with that, we have now talked about every team. We will be moving on to power rankings.
It's time for the
Why? Sorry, Google Sheets. Why would I
power
want to add
ranking.
1,000 more rows to the bottom? Why would I want to do that, Google Sheets? Can you tell me? Why would I want to add 1,000 more?
I don't
And
know.
another amazing transition. You guys watch. Oh no, that didn't even work. Oh no. Oh, this is so scuffed. Oh. Yep. Yay. It's good enough. Um, we're going to be
Professionals.
doing power rankings. And let me tell you when I say this is not easy, and I do not think there are any bad teams. Someone has to be number 14. Somebody has to be number 1, but it it does not mean that there are like the teams at the bottom are bad. It's just we're looking at what we think the potential is of these teams, and so please feel free to prove us wrong.
Yes, these are not indicative of the fact that if you're ranked number 14, you're going to be last in the league. This has nothing to do with player skill. This has nothing to
Exactly.
do with
Yes.
your abilities as a trainer. This has everything to do with what we think the teams look like at a glance on paper.
Yeah, I remember I rated Bosie's team as one of like below average when he made it to finals. So um, I think it's definitely I think Amlo's team was like around middle of the pack, if not below average as well, when he also made it to finals. So we're not going off of these are not predictions for the season. These are just how good we think the teams are. So with that being said, I think there are some teams that are generally on the stronger side. Some teams are generally on the weaker side. Um, I think contenders for towards the bottom, I would say Cybon's team is towards the bottom just because you don't really know what its direction is meant to be. I think Dori Masuda's team is like towards the bottom, but again, we're just talking about like what I see this team being capable of, not what this team is actually capable of. I think there's an argument for Alberto's team being down there just because of like the fact that it's so one-dimensional, even though the team is like has a lot of great pieces. And Juvy's team, I would also say, just because it's extremely one-dimensional. What are your guys' thoughts?
I
I
think
think it could definitely. Here, Spam, you can go ahead.
I agree for the most part with Alberto and Juvy's team. The one thing I will say about Dora Masuda's team is I think it's obviously not an A tier team by any stretch of the word. It's a good team. I think the team itself, as we talked about, lends itself to a very high prep rate, which is something to take into consideration when you're doing drafts. So I would say it's closer to the middle tier than it is the bottom tier.
Yeah, the problem is
But
none of these
there's
teams
a
are
lot of
bad.
really solid teams. Yeah, none of the teams are bad.
They're all good teams. So, and which is crazy because the budget was 95 points, and every team ended with 0 points. Everyone felt extremely limited. I know I did during the draft. Maybe it was slightly too few points, but I think the teams ended up very balanced. So we're really struggling on the power ranking. That's a good thing. So yeah, those would
Agreed.
be kind of my contenders. Part of me wants to go Juvie. Just I feel like I can't put Juvie's team last just because of like the potential of like the options, even though it feels like it could just be changed and like be better with a few more changes. I feel like it's a little hard to say. What would you guys say?
This is tough. I hate power rankings for this reason.
Yeah, you have to, but it
Yeah,
gets easier as we get to the top. Somewhat. Um, I might say, even though I think it's a great team, I think Alberto's team might be my pick, just because it feels so one-dimensional and so weak to Trick Room that, like, without any way of like dealing with Trick Room, let me just double check that Golurk. I think Golurk might get Trick Room. It does not get Trick Room. Okay. So there is just no answer for Trick Room at all on this team, which makes it just so much weaker. It feels just very fast, somewhat frail, which is okay because you have a Alolan Ninetales, but it's also like you don't have any bulky mons to benefit from Alolan Ninetales. So it feels like there's just like a lot of really good mons and good pieces thrown together. So I might.
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's
yeah.
definitely respectable. I think we'll definitely find out whether Alberto's able to use this team to its potential this week,
Mm-hmm.
especially going up against a team that has a trick room option.
Yeah.
So I think we'll definitely
I think
see
this week will be
them. I
pretty
think that is
indicative
definitely a major weakness.
of how it goes. But for now, we will put him here. And again, I will be probably doing weekly power rankings of like what I think. And so I'm sure that'll change over time. But honestly, I think
Just you can prove us wrong, Alberto. We have faith.
yeah, I would love to see people prove us wrong here. I think for the next option, I might say Cybon, just because it feels like another team of just like a lot of great mons and not a whole lot of synergy. Outside of duos, which it feels like this team out of position is the worst team in the league by far. So it needs to be like in the right position to succeed, which is hard. So
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair, and um, I feel like Galarian Weezing outside of
it
outside
doesn't
position,
add
I
much
think
outside of
could be
slacking.
Yeah, I think it could be pretty nerve-wracking for Cybons to be using Galarian Weezing out of position when it's not next to slacking. So
Also,
yeah.
Alberto, to answer
Yes,
your question,
Alberto, your
yeah.
trade won't be viable until week 2.
Yeah, you can make a trade, but it'll go through the following week. So, moving on, I think a team, like, another team to add to consideration is Saline's team, just because, although it is good, it feels like, again, the synergy is a little bit off. You think you're missing, like, a few things that you might want. You have 2 fake out users, but you have, like, 1 Tailwind user, 1 Trick Room user for speed. That's your whole speed control. And
This team is very top heavy. I mean, outside of Goldango, Salamence, Meow, and Sylveon, there's really not a lot being brought to the table. I mean, if this was a singles team, this thing would be fucking disgusting.
yeah, I think Crocodile is like another like solid option, like underrated option in terms of like what it's capable of. I think Berserker is a great partner for Goldango, and so like for those reasons, I don't want to put it like number 12. And here I might consider Juvie's team just because I feel like
I was gonna say, I think this is a good spot for Juvie's team.
I think his team is just a little too one-dimensional, and I think with a few changes, it could. So I can hear myself, but I think. Okay, one of you guys needs to fix your audio because I can hear myself. It's one of you two. Charcoal and Spam.
Let me mute myself and let me know if that fixes it.
All right. I can hear myself even louder now. Wait.
Go ahead and keep talking.
Okay. I'm talking. Yeah, I can hear myself. Charcoal.
I'm on push to talk, so
Okay.
you shouldn't be hearing anything on my side.
It's okay.
It's a you problem.
It must be.
Do you have the stream unmuted?
No. I don't have the stream actually. It's okay. Can someone in the chat let me know if this is really annoying? Because I don't want to keep.
Chat, are we cooked?
But I think Juvie's team does slide in here because without a trade, it feels just worse. It feels like it needs something about it. Okay, it is annoying. Damn, I don't know what to do now. Hello. That's so Damn. Well. I don't know what to do. You guys can lead the discussion now. That means you have to talk.
Yay! We get to
Sorry, I was talking to the wife.
All good.
Okay, number 11.
I think Dormisuda's
Let's
team
see.
maybe.
Yeah, I think Dormisuda's team is a good place to round out the middle, like the bottom of the middle. It's going into the high lows, if that makes any form of sense.
Yeah. I think it definitely it's a little bit hard to maneuver, even with like Dragapult and Incineroar and stuff. So
it is heavily reliant on the person controlling the team, which isn't a bad thing, but on paper you can't judge someone's skills. So I think this is a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's also a very top-heavy team with Dragapult, Incineroar, Corviknight, and Rotom Wash. Stonejourner is a great addition to the team. Cryogonal also adds a lot of utility, but I really think Arbok and Coughing are kind of going to be sitting around, not doing a whole bunch. Morgrim definitely has some utility here, which I can definitely see it just being a baby Grimmsnarl for sure, just without access to Spirit Break, I think. Yeah. It's another one of those top heavy teams. I would say Dora Masuda is a good spot.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm sorry for the issues when I'm talking, but I have to talk for this. So I think now that we're in towards like the middle teams, I think Salient's team. It's hard to say. Maybe S&B's team just because it's very one-dimensional. I think maybe a Tournament's team.
Let me pull up
and
Tournament's
Tatum's
team.
team. Those are the teams that I would consider kind of in this area.
See, my thing with Table's team is it feels like it's trying to do too many things.
I would agree.
He has the Annihilate Mousehold combo, which I love that. That's some great tech there. But then you have Gothitelle, Polytoad, who are vying for whatchamacallit, the Sing Song Die thing. Yeah.
Perish
Perish Trap. Thank you. And then you have Overquill and Ludicolo who are trying to do rain things. This team can play very well into other people's teams depending on who he's fighting, but this team, independent of what other people are doing, I don't think it's doing a whole lot.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know if I would slide his team in here. I probably would actually after considering it. I think I probably would slide his team here. In the 10 spot. Just because I think that's the table. Yeah, I did. I think his team
Nice.
is just it feels a little bit. Yeah. Thank you for asking. If anyone knows how to fix this issue, please
Try leaving disc and coming back to the call really quick.
I do.
Hello.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was seeing if having Blizz leave disc and come back helped. Did that help?
No. Sorry, everyone.
I'd say just fuck with your mic settings really quick.
Yeah, or also like inputs on, because it might be taking one input from Discord and then another one from microphone. I don't know.
Simon
Anyways,
says it might be an OBS thing. Number 9, we've got. Let me look at Returnum's team.
It's
Returnum's team
really
is-
difficult to.
It
rank
is.
these.
Returnum's team is solid. It is solid, but when it comes
Hello.
to, oh, we're doing a test.
Hello. Nah. It's okay. Sorry, everyone. I'm gonna be annoying for tonight, and I'll have it fixed by next stream. I think it's turning.
Maybe turn down your microphone volume just a little bit so it's not as annoying.
It's already quite low.
Oh shit. Well, sorry guys. My draft is faster than you, that's the strat, but it's not faster than Alberto's team.
Am I really?
But it is faster than the Hoplite draft. So.
Hey. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Number 9.
I think if we're going just off of the team, I think the reason I consider Turno's team slightly higher is that I know that he can do a lot with it. Actually, while I'm talking, I'm gonna mute the desktop. All right, now I know I'm not duplicated, but they can't hear you guys while I'm talking, so I'll just unmute when you guys talk. So I would say a tournament team I would consider a little bit higher just because I know that he's good with prep, and I wouldn't put it as highly if I didn't know him as a player and didn't know that he was cooking up some devious strategies. You're
I
muted.
don't. You unmuted me.
Yeah.
Okay. While I do agree that we can say that Turnham's team is extremely strong because it's a Turnham behind the keyboard, that's not the purpose of these power rankings. So I understand that there is an
Exactly. That's
insane
why I'm
level
saying
of
I
prep
would
that
put
one
him.
has to
That's
do.
the reason I would put him higher. So that's why I put him number 9 now.
Oh, okay. Yes, I totally get behind that. I missed that. I'm sorry.
You're good. So I would probably slide him in number 9.
Yeah, I'll chime in here, but I just want to say that if anyone wants to chime in the chat and call out your fellow friends and possibly enemies, the that you should feel free to go for it. So
Yeah. I would agree with that. Also, I'm not hearing myself anymore. I think the problem fixed itself. Let me know in chat if that's true. But now moving towards like the true middle, we have I think Saline is another great consideration for like a mid team, mid pack. Voids is a team you have to throw in there.
yeah, sounds good.
I think this is where S and B should be though, honestly, just because his team is just so straightforward. It's if it had more kind of versatility, I think I would put him higher. But I feel like it's really hard to see this team being successful when it's just so one note.
I agree.
So I think
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think it's pretty clear that
And
S&B
I
is
mean,
here.
he has Armor Rouge without a very clear way of
Hard.
doing Psi Spam, which not to say that Armor Rouge is a bad pick independent, it's just very hard for it to shine without Psychic Terrain.
Yes, very hard. So now it's kind of a competition between I think this is probably where Saline goes, and then I might put Voids above Pilza. We can probably add to the conversation as well. But I think this is probably where Saline is because I don't feel comfortable putting him higher than this just because of, again, like it feels very top heavy. It feels like even though there are some good options on this team, it just feels like it's not that it's not living up to its potential. It just feels like it's going to be hard. This team doesn't have like an obvious like route to success. He's going to have to like get
I would actually argue that this is a good spot to put Charcoal's team, just because Charcoal's team is so very dependent on opponent's prep and what Charcoal decides to plan on doing into the map. Or into the map, what? Into the matchup.
That's fair.
I just missed a few letters there.
I would put
It's a
his
good team,
ceiling
and
higher
we
though.
know Charcoal's capable, but I just feel like this team is it's going to be extremely reliant on Ursuluna Grimmsnarl, and with the additive bonus of either Quaquaval or Skeledirge, but outside of that, there's not a lot going on
I think
on paper.
Yanmega is quite good though. Like just in general, his swinging lecture is quite fast. But I think I do kind of agree in the sense of just like how often are you really bringing those bottom 4 mons? Not very often.
Right. It's going to be a very predictable team on who's likely to come. And I'm not saying that you're not going to be able to mix things up and bring different things each week, but it's going to be very easy for people to prep for Ursa Grimm, Bronzong, Quaquaval, Skeledirge, and Yanmega, and then just maybe swap out one or two for Hisuian Electrode or Zorua.
Okay. Just because of that, week 1, I'm only bringing my bottom 6, and I'm
Good
gonna win.
Do
Um,
it.
but yeah, if you guys feel like that's a fair part, then I'll feel free to prove you guys both wrong. So
Do it. That's the whole name of the game, buddy.
yeah,
I think now that we have 6 teams left, I think that uh Oedipus's team is one of the best, or it's up there at least. I think my team is up there, and I think Soup for Sale's team is up there as like the best team. What would you guys think? I think those three should.
What was the first one?
Dylan Cobb.
Oh, Oedipus's team. Yeah,
Oedipus, yeah.
Oedipus's team looks solid.
I don't know if I'd put that number 1, but I think it is a good team. It's hard to say.
I think honestly, I think Soup for Sale has the number 1 team. He has
But would
Dragonite
you
and
guys agree
Perigra.
Those are probably like the top 3.
I would agree.
Okay. And then so that would leave Saline, Voids, and Pilza here. I think I might put Pilza's team in 6th, Saline 5. The more I've been looking at Saline's team, the more it's kind of grown on me. Honestly.
And Pilza's team is really good, but it's very much going to be a longevity-based team, which isn't exactly the name of the game in doubles. The matchups in doubles are very quick.
VGC Reg H, it is actually like a bit definitely possible. Like Reg H specifically.
Fair. My lack of VGC is showing, and I'm willing to accept that.
It's okay. I think like having that.
I think the team is lacking oomph. Like you have King Gambit, who's fucking annoying. Volcarona obviously packs a huge punch. Clefairy is there to redirect a lot.
Pretty much exclusively.
I don't see Oshawott, Duosion, or Altaria doing too much here.
I think Altaria. I would disagree that. I mean, Oshawott is obviously the GOAT, but Duosion 125 special attack means it's a great Trick Room sweeper. Like a really
That's
good
true.
one.
That is true.
Altaria denying weather means against any weather matchup, it probably comes, and it probably is like a decent like support mon / threat. Could be a good tailwind user. Could do a lot of things. Shift Tree is really. I feel like I'm a little bit torn on if Saline or Pilz's team goes here. I just feel like Saline's team feels like a little bit less, like it has a little bit less direction. But it is a really solid team all around. So, thoughts?
Forgive me, I'm chewing.
Yeah, I might put Pilz's team number 6 just because of the tiebreaker being that Saline's one mon that can't Terra is Goldengo, who's just such a monster, and Pilza has 2 mons that can't Terra, and they both have 4 times weaknesses. So that would probably be the tiebreaker for me. But
I think that's very fair.
I feel like we're now at the point of like the top half.
I think
you could probably put in, or at least 4 through 7. You could put through in any order, and probably the same. But like kind of like some of these middle teams, you could put like in any order really. So I would probably put Pilza here, and then Saline one above. I think Saline's team again. Like we're into the realm. I don't know why, but my mic just started duplicating again. I can hear myself now. But we're now in the realm of like those are really good teams. And like we've had good teams this whole time. These are really good teams. And I would probably put Void's team in at number 4 here. My only concern with putting him this high is that again it feels a little bit directionless, but the team is just so strong on paper that it's hard not to put this high. I feel like you can do so much with Arcanine.
Yeah, I can get by that.
And Chao. They hit so hard. Braviary Tauros. All 5 of those mons hit so hard, and they have Tailwind to work off of, or Trick Room, or Redirection. Arcanine can do a lot. Whimsicott can do a lot. Mienshao has great support. Like, a lot of these mons have like great support and offense. Like Arcanine especially, Mienshao especially, Raichu especially. So I would probably put Voice before.
And I think that, like, I know I've brought up other people's teams and the fact that they are dependent on the prep going into them. I think Void's team has kind of the opposite effect, where it's he is the one who has all of the open room for prep to do whatever he wants. It's a very adaptive team, not a reactive team, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think I don't know how to phrase this, but I agree. I think your opponent has to deal with you, and he can make his team good against any matchup. So I probably
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
I agree.
Does he have one Venus name? I did too. Never mind. I think I've been saying it the whole time. Now top three teams. I'm gonna be real. I don't think I have the number one team, but I think my team is really good. I think it is a top three team for sure. But I don't think it's the best team.
See, it's you,
I think
Soup,
I think it's fair
and
with you
Dylan.
here. I think.
I think it's probably between me and Dylan. Soup probably has the best team, just in terms of potential.
I agree, and I think you have the number 2 team. The reason why I'm saying I think Dylan takes the number 3 team is I know I've brought up before that the bottom 3 Pokemon on his roster really aren't going to be doing much. But at the same time, Glimmet is solid. Cutiefly is just a baby Rabombi. It has access to everything that Rabombi has. It's just lacking in the stats.
Yeah.
So there's still, you just throw an EV light on that bitch and it's still going to be annoying. It's just not going to hit it hard. Or Sash, definitely true, just to guarantee the webs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna step in here. And sorry, Blizz, I know you're my bro, but if we're talking about the bottom 3, I feel like if you're trying to say that like the bottom 3 aren't going to be doing that much, I feel personally like we're not going to be seeing a lot of Blizzard's bottom 3, maybe even bottom 4. And I don't know I don't know your plans, but I feel like that starting 6 is definitely very good, but I don't see too much of a world where you're consistently incorporating those bottom 4 mons.
I think out of the bottom 4 mons, Copperajah and Dracloak are the only 2 who are going to see the most utility.
I think you might be sleeping on Quillfish a little, but
no, don't get me wrong. I know Quillfish is great. He's fantastic. He banded Quillfish goes crazy.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised if you say that like Copperajah and that's the reason. I think the team is great, but there are like some weaknesses, and I feel like if I just get outsped or out trick roomed, then that could work against me very easily. I have kind of a very bulky team, so if I run into an even bulkier opponent, then I might not be able to do enough damage. Or if let's say I only bring Paldean Tauros or Hisuian Samurott as my physical attackers, I lose one of them, and then my opponent has AV, then I'm in a bad spot. I feel like I can be exploited in other ways. So I'd probably slide myself in at 2 or 3. I might give myself the nod over Dylan just because again he has 2 Terramana mons, and I have redirection and he doesn't.
That's valid.
And I have Prankster Mon. Like Prankster, even though he
I
has
think
very fast.
it's definitely safe to say that Super Sale has number 1 though.
I would probably, yeah. I'd probably put number one. I would slide myself in at second. And then I would slide Dylan at third. I am a little like I wouldn't have thought going into this that I would put myself second. So I feel like I might have rated myself too high. So I might actually slide Dylan in above. Yeah, I'll put myself third actually. But yeah, I feel like this. I mean, it's not a perfect ranking by any means. We're not trying to make it perfect. I just think this is a pretty good guess if you're looking at just the teams on paper.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I will be talking about like my power rankings. Like again on my channel, I'll probably talk a little bit about my power rankings, which is team plus coach. Like just because like we'll have like 1 week of sample and 2 week of sample, and then like it'll be like
More
not
insight as
it won't
the
just
season
be
goes
like
on.
yeah, it won't just be off of standings. It won't just be off of coaching or just off of team. We'll have to. I'll try and like combine it and make it a more accurate picture, so that way like it's not that it's not that it's just like a purely off of the team. Like I want teams that are winning. Like let's say Alberto wins his first 3 games, right? Then he's not gonna be number 4. He's gonna be number 14 on this ranking, but like he'll be like number 1 on mine or number 2. Like hopefully he'll be more dynamic. But I think this is a great preseason. Just like looking at all of the teams. This is how I would rank them. Probably. You can interchange probably anyone in like this range, then anyone in like this range, anyone in like this range, anyone in this range, and anyone in like this range. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Are we doing? I forget. Are we doing power rankings each week on this at the end also? Or,
No. Again, that's just gonna be like my. Like I'm just gonna do that as a little fun thing to hopefully just make it more interesting. But no, not every week.
Good.
So
Sounds good.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was a very long stream compared to normal, just because we were doing 2 things that took a long time. But I hope us talking about your team specifically helps you. If you're a player in the league, hopefully you can look at your team and see like what do we think is good, or what do we think are like solid strategies or combos or weaknesses, especially like how you can maybe improve your team. Hopefully this was helpful in some way. And with that, thank you guys for watching. Any last words?
Hoplite's better than Phalanx.
Took
It was
twice
a bit
as long
of
as
a
the draft, but that's okay.
You can't rush perfection.
But you
That's it for me. I was supposed to be in bed like 10 minutes ago, so I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
Au contraire, I think you can rush perfection in this case.
All right. Well,
Later, y'all.
Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.